Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have my weeks 25 and 26 pregnancy update for you. We are 1 week away from the third trimester, which is bananas. So crazy, but I definitely feel it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. 25 weeks, I wrote down baby moving so much. 25 weeks, he like ramped it all up. I feel him multiple times a day. As you can tell, I'm so out of breath. He's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which is great. I wrote weird pain. So during the 25-week point, I forgot what day it was, I went for a walk and I started getting a bit of a cramp. And just what I've noticed in general with the past 2 weeks, with weeks 25 and 26, I just like get these random little pains. I don't know if they're gas pains or if they're like the muscles are stretching pains, ligament pains, I don't know. I just know that like, especially in these past 2 weeks, I've had more and more weird little like pains and pangs and stuff. So I don't think it's anything to be increasingly worried about because it usually goes away and it never like feels very alarming, but it's strange. Like it's definitely something I've kept note of. Here, I'm trying to sit up so I can show you. It's usually like either there. When I thought it could potentially be round ligament pain, it was a little bit closer down toward my hip. It wasn't where I would imagine. Did I experience round ligament pain with Hugo? I can't remember. But it wasn't like where I would have expected the ligament pain to be, like where the ligaments are. So that's why I'm just a little bit unsure, but I wrote it down, I experienced it. I wrote not feeling as swollen. This is a great one. So I mentioned in my last pregnancy update that I was feeling really swollen, and I was. Like I would get progressively bigger and bigger throughout the day, and then by the end of the day, I found that like my hands were kind of swollen, my feet were kind of swollen. That has subsided. Fantastic. My rings fit fine. They do, you know, they get a little bit stuck, especially if I'm outside and it's warm out, but for the most part, totally like the swelling has kind of disappeared, which is great. And I wrote feeling out of breath, which I already mentioned. 25 weeks and 6 days, I went in for my gestational diabetes test, and that would have been the last video that I uploaded for my weekly vlog, and I documented that. My midwife did say that my Tdap shot is going to be at my next appointment. I think I just wrote that down because I don't want to forget it. And then I just wrote underwhelming. If you watch that vlog, I'll link it down below, then you know like what my thoughts were. I won't go into it right now. But I haven't received the results of the gestational diabetes test yet. So fingers crossed everything's fine. We are still waiting to hear. And I wrote 157 pounds. So I mentioned this in my vlog, but they weighed me, I was 157 pounds. It seems like a lot to me, but at the same time, I just gain a lot with my pregnancies. Like, and I kind of knew that with Hugo. I knew that just like genetically. My mom gained a lot with me and my brother. I just knew going into this that this was going to be like another big gaining pregnancy. And so it's just, you know, we're on track. We're just like keeping things steady. So that was the appointment in a nutshell. And then 26 weeks, jumping into 26 weeks, I wrote still feeling heavy and big. That's just going to be a theme moving forward, right? Like now we're getting into the third trimester. And if I look back on some of my pictures and my videos, I documented my entire pregnancy with Hugo here on YouTube. And when I look back, I'm like, yeah, my belly is huge at the end, huge. So we're just getting to the point now where things are just getting bigger. Things are gonna be more uncomfortable for me to do. It's already hard for me to like bend over and pick something up off the floor. Picking up Hugo is really difficult. I try not to. And so that's just gonna keep happening, right? Like it's not like going the opposite direction right now as we venture into the third trimester. I wrote sleeping is a bit harder and waking up a lot during the night. So because my belly is getting much bigger and much heavier, I have found that sleeping is harder, obviously. And by the end of the night, my belly feels really heavy and it just feels so good to be laying down. But something that I have been experiencing a lot, and I mentioned this maybe a few updates ago, is that I've been experiencing more so this pregnancy than my last, that feeling of breathlessness, feeling like you can't breathe when you're laying on your back. I remember that wasn't a huge issue in my first pregnancy, and as I used to teach a lot of prenatal Pilates clients, and that was like a huge rule, don't put clients on their backs. I did have some clients say like, oh, I'm fine on my back, like even into their middle to late third trimester, they felt fine, they didn't feel out of breath. And sort of the rule of thumb when it came to that was like, if mom can breathe and mom feels like she's getting enough oxygen, then she can be on her back for like a very short period of time. And so when I was pregnant with Hugo, and as he and I were both growing, that was something I was aware of as I was continuing to practice Pilates and just like in general. And I didn't experience that like out of breath feeling quite as much. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. Now, oh my gosh, I cannot be on my back. I just can't. It's even hard for me, like if we're sitting on the couch, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but if I'm sitting on the couch watching TV at the end of the night, it's hard for me even sometimes to just sit back. I have to be sitting on my side. And that's usually like when I can get the most oxygen and like feel like I can breathe. So that is something that has been really interesting and definitely like ramped up in these past 2 weeks. I wrote baby is still moving a lot, so he's still rocking and rolling all the time, which is great. I love feeling him. When he moves, it almost like relieves, I don't know, it feels good. Like it just feels like it gives me a little bit of relief. He's not like, he hasn't been kicking me in the ribs at all. I feel like he is very, well, I'm not sure if he's transverse, but like I feel a lot of kicking on my right side. So that's what I'm guessing. I'm having a scheduled C-section, so like it doesn't really matter where he is. If he's not head down, that's okay. And I twitch. So in the past 2 days, a really exciting symptom that I'm not chalking up. I mean, is it because of the pregnancy? Is it because of stress? Is it because of lack of sleep? Is it caffeine? Like, is it all the things combined? I have developed a left eye twitch. It doesn't happen all the time. It's only like if I were to rub my eye, or like, it usually happens in the morning. That's why I think it has something to do with like waking up and caffeine, and my eye just has started twitching in the past 2 days. So that's been a really exciting, gorgeous development. I'm keeping an eye on it, no pun intended. So if it gets worse, or like, I don't know, if there are any other like sort of weird symptoms, then I'll contact my OB, but like, I think it's just an eye twitch. The last two things, I'll save the most exciting and sort of upbeat for last. I wanted to mention, so I've definitely noticed, I feel like it's a weird, this summer, so over the past 2 months, I feel like we have had a little bit of relief from being constantly worried and nervous about the state of the world. And that's not like, I mean, it is based in science, and that like the area that I live in has for the past like 2 months been doing really well, and the cases have been really low. And so I've been able to go out more and go food shopping, and like for the longest time, for the first half of this year, I wasn't doing any of that. I was just home. Like, so was Jeff. Jeff would go out and go food shopping, but we wouldn't go anywhere. And so for the past, I mean, maybe even less than 2 months, for the past 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, being able to like go out and run errands has been so nice. Like for my mental health especially, but just so nice to like venture out into the world. I have been getting some anxiety about the future and looking into the fall and the winter, because I feel like a lot of the scientific consensus is that it's going to be a really tough fall and winter. And going now into my 3rd trimester, that has caused me some anxiety. Knowing that I'm going to have a newborn in November is like making me nervous. Also, I'm going back to teach dance, which is a positive thing. I'm so excited to be going back. It is going to be in studio. They are taking so many safety precautions. I won't like list them now, but they're doing a lot. So I do feel comfortable. I just feel kind of nervous and just anxious overall. And I found that like any sort of like little, if I have a little cough, or if, I mean, granted, like we're in air conditioning a lot of the time, and like it's so hot out, so going from the heat to the cold will sometimes bring on cold symptoms, even if they're not cold symptoms, you know what I mean? So every little thing I get nervous about, and I just feel like now as I journey into the 3rd trimester, I want to be as safe as possible, because I don't want to have to be separated from my baby when my baby is born, God forbid, if I'm sick, or, you know, I don't even want to like say it. Like, it's just a lot, right? And those are all realities of the time in which we are living. And so I don't mention that to like scare any of you, because I know a lot of you are also pregnant and due around the same time as me. I don't say that stuff to like, you know, start anxiety in anyone. It's just something that I've noticed, like, it wasn't creeping in before, and like for the past 6 weeks I've been okay and I've been fine, and now all of a sudden I'm just starting to feel like, oh, okay, like just nervous, you know, nervous. Anyway, now let's get to the really exciting upbeat news, and what I will finish this vlog out on is I am pretty sure, I am like 99.9% sure we have baby's name, his full name. I think we got it. So last time I told you, and I'm pretty sure it was in a weekly vlog, I mentioned that we had his name. We actually changed it from that. Jeff and I are like, I feel like anytime I say out loud that we have his name, then all of a sudden something changes. But I think we have it. I can't say anything more than that, because I feel like I'll give it away or like something. But I feel like we've been talking about it now for a few days, and it feels really right, and I love it, and I love, you know, I love when it's written down, I love when we say it, and I just love everything about it. So that's been really exciting, and I feel like I'm like able to now kind of really envision him coming and like really like put a name to the face sort of thing, you know, even though I can't see his face. Okay. So that's it for my pregnancy update, guys. Oh, let me show you a bum shot. This is 26 weeks. I feel like my belly has expanded, especially up here. And from the side. And the other side. Some of the strings of my shorts. Next time I talk to you, holy moly, I will be in my 3rd trimester, the next update, right? Because 3rd trimester is 28 weeks. I turned 27 weeks when you guys are watching this tomorrow. So it's bananas. It's definitely like, it's kicking me into gear for sure. Like, if before I felt like I was nesting, if before I felt like I wanted to get everything done, it's like now that's like times a million. And now I just feel like we have to, like, this is it. This is the last, you know, we only have however many weeks left, maybe 10 weeks. And because when I turn 28 weeks, I'm giving birth 38 weeks and 6 days. So like that's almost 11 weeks. Anyway, it goes by really fast. And so I just like want to be as prepared as possible. Let me know how you guys are feeling down in the comments. I love you all. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you really soon. Bye guys.